Halle Bailey claims DDG attacked her. So listen, man. I've been around before while they got into it. I've been around before while they got into it. And like I said before, I don't get into people, family issues. I stayed the fuck out the way. I done seen them get into it before. And let me put it like this. I'm gonna put it like this. As a man, have you ever been in a situation where a woman is just whooping the man? Matter of fact, fuck that. Let's go ahead and get into it. Halle was beating the fuck out this nigga. I'm talking about swinging on this nigga. I'm talking about piecing this nigga up. Ha, 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 ha. You feel me? So, are you just, as a nigga, are you just gonna sit there and just hands behind your back? No. Like, what are you gonna do? Stop, hey. Stop. Hey, stop. Stop. Rosano. Hey, stop. You know what I'm saying? Stop. So, and realistically, bro, and honestly, like, you really can't even prove. You really can't even prove that is from him. Like, that could be from anything. That could be a rash he has. But, like, let's just say it is, right? Let's just say he did put his hand on her. Like, him grabbing her. What he supposed to do? Like, you know what I'm saying? What are you supposed to do? If a girl hitting me, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm like, hey, stop. Like, stop doing it. Stop. You feel me? So, check pen. The CIA is outside. So, yeah. So it's like, bro, like, what else is niggas supposed to do, bro? Like, that shit is just so crazy to me.
Shalom, shalom. I want to start by giving my praises, glory, and honor to the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Kakadash. My name is Brother Napak from the Camp Prophets in Babylon, down here in Tampa, Florida. And I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who teach me well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect and the ones listening in. And I want to get into a quick lesson. All right. And this lesson is going to be, on this video I just put up. All right. You have one of the DDGs, which is a famous celebrity of this world. All right. One of his close friends came out to speak out about a situation that's going on with him and his woman. The woman that, his baby mother, and how she took his son away from him, and now she's, putting a restraining order against him, and all different type of things, man. And all this is doing is, affecting his career, the spotlight that's on him, and it's making him look pretty bad. Which, all them niggas, that sold their soul and sold their life into this place. You're pretty bad, but now you have it where this woman, all right, speaking out against him, all right, and a lot of his fan base, a lot of his fans, a lot of things are, messing up for him, all right, and not only that, he can't really speak on it, he can't see his kid, he can't speak on the woman, he can't speak on his kid when he goes to live stream, and it just shows you, man, no matter how far you try to get here in Babylon, you will still be under these curses. All right? You're going to still be under those curses, man. All right? No matter how far you try to get, no matter how rich or famous or anything you try to build up here in this place of Babylon, you're still going to be under those curses because we came here on, in captivity. All right? On slave ships. All right? But not only that, another point I want to make with this lesson is that this guy is also the guy, DDG is also the guy, that mocked and scoffed the prophets when he walked by. All right. So it's not surprising that now the Lord, all right, is having him going through all this. It's affecting his influence, his career, and a lot of things, man. All right, especially when you want to be the top guy, or a guy that has a big name and a lot of reputation. Things like this can literally destroy you. All right, destroy your career. Right now he's getting canceled, man. All right. So I want to grab a few precepts on the situation. Not really so much getting into, what he got going on with the woman. All right. It's got really nothing to do with any of us, but ultimately it's just for edification's sake. All right. And, what the Lord is doing to this man and why he's doing it. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 56, because ultimately it's the Lord, man. All right, it's the Lord that's bringing this upon this dude. All right, because like I said, he mocked and scoffed the prophets. All right, he mocked and scoffed the prophets. Now the Lord is judging him for it. All right. Not only that, like I said, we're still in these curses. This is Deuteronomy 28 and verse 56 says, the tender and delicate woman among you, which is our woman, the Jake woman. At one point, they were tender and delicate and nice, and, they would do the things that were needed of them and be an actual helpmate. All right? But now you got these women, all right, that are loud and, brute beasts, man. They fight you. They put their hands on you and all different type of things. They falsely accuse you of things, all right, which is what they're trying to say this woman's doing to him now, is falsely accusing him. Now, like I said, I don't know, what went down behind closed doors, man. All right. But whatever it is, I don't, really too much care, man. It's, like I said, for edification's sake, showing you what's going on with this guy, man. All right. It says, which would not venture to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness. Her eyes shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter. So this is a woman that we deal with nowadays, man. All right, and Jake is going through that right now. That's one of the curses. All right, his own woman, that he had a child with, he has a family with, and he can't just, quietly and quickly do away with her and just stop dealing with her, because they have a child together. He can't just put her away, all right, because they have a child together, man. And so he's still gonna have to deal with her, all right. But she's giving him hell, not allowing him to see his kid, not allowing him to speak on his kid or talk about his kid or anything, man. All right, she's giving him hell for it, and ultimately it's all of the Lord, man. Like I said, this guy was a mocker and a scoffer. There's a video going around. I tried to find it. I haven't had too much luck with it. It was an old video, all right, but you had Jake DDG and his friends, walking by, and they was just, talking about the prophets and, roasting them. And while they was trying to, Jake was trying to tell them, hey, brothers was trying to tell him, hey, warn him and tell him who he is according to the Bible. And Jake wanted to be funny, man. Now look what the Lord got you into, because the predicament he's in is honestly hilarious. Social media and the mainstream media is having their fun with it, having their laughs with it, having their controversy with it. Now you become a mockery. Now you become a humiliation. Now you're being humiliated, all right? All over the online, and your face is painted everywhere. You look that crazy. You look at as a woman abuser. All types of things, man. All right, and it's, like I said, it's affecting his career. So if you want anything to do with the mainstream media or want to be in this industry, all right, you got to understand that, you're giving your life away to these people. Or unto Esau, the devil. And these devils don't play fair, So you don't want to go by what they want you to do or, whatever. Or I believe it's, me and the brother was talking about it, we believe, it's about that whole, music video he did with Tory Lanez, and Tory Lanez was exposing, everything that was going on with that. All right, and even with that, Tory Lanez just got stabbed up in jail around the same time this guy just got accused of this. All right, so they're going for you niggas, man. Like I said, you try to Jake try to build up their life here through Esau Edom. All right, and they get backstabbed by these devils, man. All right, they get backstabbed by these heathens. And now they're starting to realize, but it's going to be too late. They got to continue that contract out. They got to continue their life out, being controlled by these devils. Okay, so the NLT says, Deuteronomy 28 verse 56, the most tender and delicate woman among you, so delicate she would not so much as touch the foot with her, or touch the ground with her foot, will be selfish towards the husband she loves. She will be selfish towards the husband she loves and toward her own son or daughter. All right, so the woman, most tender and delicate woman, these Jake women, all right, that wouldn't even touch the ground with her foot. She was so delicate. All right, our women were beautiful back then. They were discreet. They were in order. They were at a high standard. To deal with those Jake women, man. First of all, you had to be a Jake. All right, if a Jake woman goes into a heathen or an Edomite, all right, you will have to that baby will come out as a tear baby, and that baby will ultimately that baby got to be destroyed, her and the baby, man. All right, but to deal with a woman back then, you would have to pay the father, all right, to be able to deal with her. Now these women, they go out and put their and open their legs for any and every man. Now the man don't even deal with them for real. They got all these different baby daddies and kids. All right, they lose their virginity at a very, very, very young age. All right, to some stubborn ass nigga. All right, and then they start looking at all niggas crazy, and really it's just the downfall of Jake woman. That's their curse. All right, they go on a downfall spiral as as they grow. Just continuously being a whore and a harlot. Okay, so it says will be selfish toward her own husband. So she's not even allowing him to see his child, man. All right. And got a restraining order against him, man. She got all these different allegations and false accusations against him. All right. Or quote unquote false accusations. All right. And, he got to deal with that, bro. He got to deal with that. I want to bring this out. This is Proverbs chapter 21, verse 19. Let me get my blue letter Bible. 21 and 19, it says, it is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and an angry woman. All right. In the NLT, it says, it is better to live alone in the desert than with a quarrelsome, complaining wife. All right. So it's better to be alone in the desert, all right, in the wilderness, all right, than to be with a contentious, angry, clamorous woman, man. She always trying to put her hands on you. She talking disrespectful. That's why the elders always say, man, leave these Judite women alone, man. All right? Leave the black woman alone, man. A lot of them, come with a lot of problems, man. All right? A lot of them come with a lot of problems, and you don't want those type of problems, especially not in this truth. All right? Now, maybe it's going to be some woman, some Jake woman that's going to, get right and get in order, and that's not talking about them. All right. The Lord will ultimately have you deal with that woman, and because if she's meant for salvation, the Lord's going to have a man come in and deal with her. All right. But ultimately, you don't want to mess with these Jake women that's in the world. All right. These wicked ass Jake women. All right, because they're just going to come and they're going to destroy your life. And that's what she's doing to this man, DDG right now, is she's destroying his life. All right, his image. All right, now he has a whole different image, and he's not even able to speak on it. He's not even able to tell his part of the story. He's not able to speak on her or the child. So he's silenced. All right, so as soon as all these false allegations, or quote unquote false allegations, all right, and all these different, all the restraining order and everything comes out, the mainstream media, they made it where he couldn't even speak out against it if he wanted to. He can't say nothing. All right. And there's a video, when he just found out he was with the streamer Adin Ross, and Adin Ross had to hurry up and take the camera and talk for him. All right. The guy looked destroyed in the face because he knew what was happening. All right, he knew it was over for him. All right. Another scripture is, to get on this fact real quick. It says, Matthew chapter 6 and verse 19, lay not up for yourselves treasures upon heaven, where moth and rust doeth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. All right, so don't lay upon lay not up, upon this earth, treasures. All right, Jake want to give their whole life unto this place. All right, trying to get an image, trying to get the money, the riches, the fame, all these different things. All right, but that can go away just like that, man. All right. The Lord can take that away just like that, bro. Just like this guy's image is getting, slung through the dirt, the mud right now. His name, all right? And he can't say nothing about it. And he's right now he's vulnerable to lose everything that he has now. All right? You seen what they done did to the baby, the rapper? You barely hear from that nigga at all. All right? After he did that little, stunt at the concert he was at. That's the thing. That's why I said, Jake, you're still in these curses no matter how far you try to get here in this world. All right? Gain the world and sell his own soul. Let's get that real quick. But Jake, no matter how far you get there in the industry, all right, the farther, the worse. The higher you get, the worse you get. The worse, the more you're controlled. All right? So these guys are not able to speak out or speak up against anything or say anything, because once they start to speak up, these devils go straight to demonizing them. All right? And he dealt with this woman, and now she's doing the same thing and demonizing him and demonize his name and making him look crazy. And this can very well affect his fan base, his career, and his image upon this place. Hold on, Salakia. 36. And his image upon this place. This is Mark chapter 8 and verse 36. It says, for what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the world and lose his own soul? All right. So what profit shall it give you if you gain the whole world? You gain everything upon this place. You get it all, but you lose your soul in exchange for it. All right. You no longer have control over yourself. You can't do certain things that other people can. All right. That's why a lot of these rappers are miserable. They're ratchet. All right. They have nothing. All right. They may have everything to the eye. All right. But ultimately, there's a void inside them that just won't be fulfilled. All right. Because they're continuously going through hell. They continuously have them being controlled. All right. They can't do anything that they want. They have to be watched. All right, because once you get affluent and influence in this world, you can't just say anything, man. The devil's going to silence your ass, cancel you, man, real quick. All right, that's why the prophets of the Lord, we ain't no celebrities, man. We ain't no top guys in this world or that got a name for ourselves or anything. The more name and reputation you got here for yourself, all right, the easier it is for them to control you. The easier it is for them to, to have you do whatever they desire. All right, that's why a lot of these niggas going out, on the black couch and all that, man. All right, and let me get this real quick, and I'm gonna close out this scripture. I believe it's in the 25th chapter. Yep. No, I'm just start right here. This is Sirach chapter 26 and verse 6. It says, "But the grief of heart and sorrow is a woman that is jealous over another woman, and the scourge of the tongue which communicateth with all." All right, so the grief of a heart and sorrow is with a woman that is jealous over another woman, man. You know, she jealous. You know, she's seeing this guy on different live streams with all these different women and all these different girls and doing his own thing. That woman's bitter, man. She doesn't like that. You know, she's seeing that. She's like, you know, she feels like, you know, this nigga ain't nothing. You know, he ain't SHIT, man. All right. So she's going to do whatever she can to destroy him, to destroy his platform, to destroy his streaming. All right. And she's doing pretty good right now. You know, she's becoming pretty successful in it. You know, allowing him not to be able to speak out against him or on her or Halo. So that's basically saying you can't even speak on the situation at all. You can't, you know, because it involves her child or his child and her. All right. So you can't say anything to defend himself. He has to be quiet and accept it. It says, "An evil wife is a yoke shaken to and fro, and he that hath hold of her is as though he held a scorpion." So an evil wife. All right, and that woman's evil, man. You know, there's a picture going around with her and Jay-Z and Beyonce and her little sister or her sister with them. All right, you know them devils, man. You know what they do. All right. So that woman's evil, bro. You know. So evil wife is a yoke shaken to and fro. All right. You know, she's gonna constantly give you a headache, constantly give you hell. All right, constantly take your son and not allow you to be able to see him. Now he calling the next man his father, his stepfather, and he looking at you crazy. He looking at you with an evil eye because he feel like he was never in his life to begin with, but the mom was the one that took you out, took him out of your life, man. You know, so that's the curses, bro. All right, and we have to deal with the curses. We got to go with it, man. You know, because ultimately the Lord's gonna save us from it. All right, and you know Jake gonna get put back in their right mind. All right, but ultimately, you got to go through these curses right now. All right. It says, "He that holdeth her is as though he held a scorpion." All right, and the scorpion is a dangerous animal. All right, it's poisonous. All right, and you hold that scorpion, it's gonna stab you and it's gonna poison you. All right, and that's what she did. She poisoned that man. You know, so hey, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to the hopeful elect. And once listening again, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Kakadash. Once again, double honor to elders and apostles, a great millstone.